Today we're going to look at writing linear equations in all different forms, and we're going to go ahead and start with slope-intercept form. Before we would graph linear equations given slope-intercept form, and now we're going to kind of do the opposite. We're going to have a graph given to us, and then we're going to find the equation. For example, remember we have a slope and a y-intercept in our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. In this case, they're telling us the slope is -2, that's the m, and the y-intercept is 5, that's the b in this form of the equation. So if we just substitute it in, our equation is really y equals -2x plus 5. And you're writing an equation in slope-intercept form. Go ahead and pause it and you try. Your equation should look like the following. Y equals 7x minus 11 for A. For B, y equals 2/3 x plus 5. And for C, y equals -7/5 x minus 2. What if you're given a graph? If we're given the graph, then we need to know our slope and our y-intercept. So when I take a look at this graph, I can see my y-intercept here at 0, 3. That's important. That's the intercept. And then we also need to find the slope. We can find this in two different ways. We can take this point here and find another point on the line and do our slope formula. If you remember, that was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's your slope formula. You could do that if they just give you 2 points. But if I have the graph, then I can count. I can count my spaces to find my slope. This looks like a drop of 2 and then a run of 5. So my slope for this one is going to be -2 over 5, that's my slope. So my equation is y equals -2/5 x. And then my y-intercept is 0, 3. At 3 is where it crosses the y-intercept, so that's what we're putting here. All right, go ahead and pause and you try. Our y-intercept for the first graph is up here at 0, 4. And our slope is dropping down 2 and over 1. So that's a -2 for slope. My equation is y equals -2x plus 4. For letter B, you can tell my line is sloping positively or upwards as I read it from left to right. So I know my slope is going to be a positive value. My y-intercept is down here at 0, -5. And if I count, I rise up 1, 2, 3, 4. And run 1, 2, 3. My slope is 4/3. My equation is y equals 4/3 x minus 5. What if you're given just 2 points? Can you find the slope? Can you find the y-intercept? Well, the slope, remember, is the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we went ahead and numbered our ordered pairs so we could keep everything in line. So if we do that, we're going to have my y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we'll have to simplify. That comes out to -5 over -10. And we can simplify that. Remember, a negative divided by a negative will be a positive value, and 5 over 10 can be simplified to 1/2. Our slope then is 1/2. Where's our y-intercept? If you remember, a y-intercept is going to be somewhere along this y-axis. So if I pick a point, any point on here, what does the x have to be? Do I get to go anywhere left or right? I don't. The x has to be 0. The y value could be any number I want, or any number that's on my y-axis that is going through my line. So when I take a look at my ordered pairs, which one holds the key to my y-intercept? Yeah, this one right here. It's 0, -1. That's my y-intercept. So now I can write my equation. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Go ahead and pause the video and you try. All right, so we first have to calculate our slopes. So I did that for the first one. I got a positive 3/4, especially when I simplified those double negatives. And here's my y-intercept. So my equation is y equals 3/4 x plus 6. For letter B, again, we went ahead and did our subtraction. We found our slope. And this is our y-intercept. Y equals negative 9/5 x plus 8. For letter C, I had to be very careful. I have a bunch of double negatives here. So negative 14 minus a negative 8 is going to be a big old plus sign. And 0 minus a negative 6, again, will be a big old plus sign. We get negative 6 over 6, which is equal to negative 1. My equation is y equals negative 1x minus 14. You may also see it as just y equals negative x minus 14. Either of those would be acceptable. And that is how we write equations, either given the graph or given 2 points, 1 point of which is your y-intercept. This one was our y-intercept here. Take a look at our next video on how to write an equation when you're given 2 points and you don't have the y-intercept. That'll be next.